when we think about geopolitics in this context, we can't avoid the elephant in the room, which is the US-China relationship. Data is obviously a major battleground in the so-called tech Cold War. And so from a connectivity standpoint, I think the risk there is that there are divergences, disparities in regulation and the application of data that ultimately lead to differences and divergences in experiences and standards from consumers around the world. And the same is basically true for tech-based infrastructure. So as US-China relations remain negative, third countries, I think especially in developing nations, are more likely to choose sides on infrastructure, choose sides on standards. And so going forward, you'd have a lot of countries, a lot of companies even, that are more aligned with US infrastructures and standards that are probably going to continue to quote unquote de-risk their exposure to China when it comes to to tech-related supply chains. So for instance, in Europe, although many countries there kind of retain pretty substantial portions of their 5G networks that operate on Huawei gear, the EU as a bloc and then many prominent member states have already implemented or are beginning to implement bans on Chinese-made equipment. And so in parallel, and going forward, then you have the US that, for its part, is almost certainly going to continue to take steps, not just to increase its lead over China in certain advanced technologies, but actually aim to maintain that edge over China pretty much indefinitely. And so that's kind of the geopolitical angle we tend to look at within these digitalization issues.